Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our batch 3 Gita Gyan program. Today we are discussing on chapter 2. So today is October the 8th, Tuesday. So on this very auspicious day, we're going to discuss on this chapter 2. Okay. So this chapter is a very unique chapter. In this chapter 2, basically, we're going to discuss about the summary of Bhagavad Gita. So entire thing that going to be discussed in this entire Bhagavad Gita is summarized in this chapter 2. Okay. So here also there's a lot of things they'll be discussed regarding the soul and especially the soul and how the consciousness and all these things. All right. So it's going to be a very interesting topic today. The best person to explain when it comes to this kind of matter, especially the subtle body, the gross body, the soul, the nature, the senses, working senses and all this, is the creator himself. All right. So when we compare all the other scriptures, okay, when we compare all the other scriptures, when we look at Bible, Jesus speaking about God. When we look about Quran, Nabi is speaking about God. And like that, all right? But here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself speaking about himself. That is why this Gita is very, very auspicious book. Okay. Having a Gita is equivalent to having Ganga. Okay. Bathing in Ganga. Okay. What is that? We will discuss as we go on. But as usual, before we start, we do our invocation prayer. So we offer obeisances and pranam to all the spiritual preceptor who have created this opportunity for us. All right. And also we seek their blessing so that we don't get diverted out and speak as it is according to that parampara. Okay. So let's do our invocation prayer. What is invocation prayer actually? Invocation prayer means to invoke auspiciousness, to invoke this thing. All right. Like for instance, when we look in the temple, before they start the towel, that towel and what they call Nadaswaram, right? See in any Hindu temple, first they start with Mangala Vatyam. All right. They just play with the Mangala Vatyam to create auspiciousness. All right. So like that, in everything, in fact, nowadays, if you see in any government department, before they start anything, they will say a prayer first to create auspiciousness. So like that, let's put our hands together, just close our eyes and just listen to the mantra, what I'm going to say, chant, and just be grateful and gratitude to all. I mean, just say thank you to those who have invited you here. Because as you go on in Bhagavad Gita, as we go on, you start to realize how fortunate are you to be here. All right. Of course, it's too early for me to tell you this. We will study as we go on. All right. So let's do our invocation prayer. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagar Jadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Kada Damadaya Nagra Grama Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasachare Satarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Viknana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadya Sri Rupa Nuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Tarine Rupa Nuga Viruda Pasidanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambra Sambode Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanu Gaurayate, Gauravir Bhava Bhumestum Nidasa Sajjana Priya, Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatha Yate Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhube Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhube vacha Paditanam pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhayo namo namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So, thank you. Thank you all for coming today. So today we are starting with chapter 2, which is a longest chapter. In chapter 2, there is around 70 over verses. I think 73 or 74 verses. Okay, so of course we have I have taken the essence of the verses. Total 72 verses. Okay, this is the longest chapter. Second longest. The last chapter 18 is also the most is this longest. All right. So, like yesterday, just to recap what we have discussed yesterday. Yesterday was observing the armies of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, okay, whereby Arjuna side and Duryodhana side all ready to fight the war because to demand justice, because they supposed to keep their promise. The Duryodhana side, all right, the Duryodhana side or the Kauravas supposed to keep their promise to give their the kingdom. They should share the kingdom. They should surrender the kingdom to Yudhishthira or the Pandavas, because they didn't do so and they broke the promise. And after that, they also challenged. They said, if you want to take the kingdom, let's fight. Let's create a war. And the war was declared. Okay, when the war was declared, what happened? Arjuna was telling Krishna, take the chariot and bring it to the middle. I want to see who is there to fight with me. So when he went there, he started to see his grandfather, like Bhishma Dev, all right, and he started to see his teachers, like what they call Dronacharya, his best friend, buddy, Ashwatthama, all right, and of course, he has his favorite uncle, Mamaji. His name is a king of Kampuchea. What is his name? I forgot his name. All right, he's from Kampuchea or Cambodia, right? So now the question is, why did they simply choose? Because all of them and most of them are very dear to Arjuna. But why they standing on the side of Duryodhana? What is the reason? See, Duryodhana was very clever. Okay, so whenever they have a friendly talk, right? When they have a, say, like for instance, Bhishma or whatever, the uncles, whoever relations come down, when they have a friendly talk, they just say, hey, you know what, Duryodhana? One day if you go into war, I make sure I'll stand by your side. This kind of joking words, Duryodhana take it very serious. And he went and told everybody, you have given me the word, you have given me the promise. All right. You say if there's a war, you'll side on my side. So make sure you come. So they all have no choice. They all have to join the party, Duryodhana party, and they have to fight against Arjuna. So when Arjuna saw all this, he was so heartbroken. All his uncles, all his family members, relatives. Okay, he's very dear. He's the favorite child of that dynasty, of that kingdom. And everyone is there. So when they start to see that all of them are there, standing there to fight with him, he was so heartbroken and he gave up. He said, that's it. I'm not going to fight. All right. He was under severe depression. Right. He was under severe depression and he was in great anxiety and he couldn't think straight. Okay. His mind started to dwindle. He started to lose his composure. and his skin is burning, his mouth drying up, and only thing that he can see is misfortune. Okay, misfortune. And he start to give excuses, and after that, end of the day, at the final of the chapter, he told Krishna, look here, Krishna, I'm not going to fight. Let them kill me unarmed. Okay, I rather go and stand there, let them kill me, and let them take the kingdom. Just because of the desire of having the kingdom, I cannot fight with my family members. And this is not ordinary people. They are all very, very dear to me. Right? When Arjuna was a childless, when Arjuna was young, when all the boys were young, and they lost their parent, the father, Pandu, died very young. Okay, Arjuna's father died very young. So they were all just small boys. And my grandfather took care of me. And Dronacharya is the one who teach me how to art of fighting. Right? And Ashwatthama is my childhood friend. You want me to kill all these people just to enjoy this kingdom? I rather don't have it. Okay? They are really willing to die for this kingdom. It's not worth it. That's it. Let them have it. And I'm not going to fight. All right. So with that thought, we end chapter 1. So in chapter 2, it is actually, the title is the contents of Gita summarized. So here Arjuna submits Lord Krishna as his disciple because he's so confused. Okay, he was so confused. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to think. Okay, his mind is reeling. That means he's like lost his intelligence. He lost his intelligence. He don't know what to do. So what happened in this chapter? Arjuna surrenders to Krishna as the disciple, and Krishna begins the teachings to Arjuna by explaining the fundamental distinction between the temporary material body and the eternal spiritual soul. So now here he's doing a comparison between the temporary material body. This body is so temporary, but the eternal spirit soul. What is that difference? Right? And Lord explains the process of transmigration. Okay, how we transmigrate, how we move on. All right, the nature of selfless service to the Supreme Lord and the characteristic of a self-realized person. What are the characteristics of the person who have achieved self-realization? So that's a topic. So we're going to discuss, and it's going to be a very interesting topic. And okay, let's start without further delay. All right, so ISKCON Ipoh Bhakti Yoga Center, in collaboration with ISKCON Malaysia, proudly presents Gita Gyan, Essence of Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2. Okay, let's take darshan from Sri Sri Nitai Gauranga. Who are they? We will discuss as we go on in our following classes. So today we dedicate our program to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, right, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He has very nicely translated all this into English, all right, and presented to us so that anybody who don't have any skill or any knowledge in any Indian language, they could achieve the highest perfection of understanding Bhagavad Gita. It's not an easy task, but he made it done. And of course, this program is inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He's a governing body commission and also a spiritual master. He always look for ways and means how he can expand the preaching and how he can inspire people, especially to take up this, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And he's a dear disciple. His Grace Anadi Jagannath Prabhu, the late Anadi Jagannath Prabhu of Bengaluru ISKCON Sheshadipuram, he took it and he made it in such a way, and he created this program which is so innovative. Within 18 days, I personally have seen huge transformation. People who have severe stress, people are going through some severe depression, people who have the tendency to suicide, just name it, any kind of situation. Because I've been doing this for, I think, more than, almost 1,000 students, right? I've done this, and I see that there is huge transformation is happening. That's why now here you see that some of the participants here are following me from batch 1. They say this is too good to miss, and they just want to go on reading and learning again. But also do take note, this is only a Gita Gyan, that means the summary of the Gita on that particular chapter. You are required to study and understand the Gita, the entire chapter. All right? Okay. So now let's look at Mahatmya. Mahatmya means the glories. Okay, what is the glories of studying Bhagavad Gita? Like that, we're going to speak about 18 glories. Of course, the glories is unlimited, but we just speak on the main glories. All right. The second glory is spoken also by Adi Shankara. Okay. What he says, Gita dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasyacha naiva shantihi papani purva janma kritanicha. Naiva shanti hi papani. Papani means sin. Shanti, purva janma or previous birth. Kritanicha. So he says, if one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely, okay, those who reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, that means when you study a Bhagavad Gita, you study. That means you are studying this book very, very sincerely and with seriousness. That means you're studying word by word. Then by the grace of the Lord, the reaction of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. All of us are suffering happiness and distress all due to our previous birth karma. All right. We have gone through this birth millions of times. We will discuss as we go on the transmigration. When you come to the matter of transmigration, let's see how many times that we have come through this place. So whatever things that we are enjoying or suffering is all depends on what happened, what we have done in our former birth. Example, you have seen like sometimes they used to ask, why bad things happen to good people? Right? A person who have never smoked, never drink is so with such a clean habit, end up he suffer from a severe chronic cancer and die very miserably. Right? And the person, like when you see the flow at the roadside, drunk and sleep by the roadside, it seems like nothing will happen to him. Why? Why is that so? So there's a lot of questions. That means sometimes people ask, do God really exist? Or sometimes they used to ask this question, do God is he very fair? Right? And some says God must be crazy. Like the movie, God must be crazy. So like this, there are so many arguments. But here we must understand, whatever good and bad things that we are going through is all because of our previous birth. Prarabdha karma. They call prarabdha karma. Okay. So now when we see, when we are going to this place of pilgrimage, okay, say we go to India, you go to Ganga, you go to Yamuna, you go to Tirupati, you go to Kasi, Rameswar, all the places we are going, what is the reason? Okay, what is the reason that we are going on a pilgrimage? So that we could reduce the effect of prarabdha karma, or the karma that we have been accumulated from our previous birth. All right. And the ritual of doing such cleansing, it costs a lot of money. You need to take a flight, you have to go to India, and you have to go to certain places. You have to go to Ganga, you have to go to Yamuna, you have to go to all these places, and with the help of some devotees to guide you. All right. So we have to go through a very severe or very expensive way just to get rid of all our reactions of our previous birth. All right. There's sometimes they say, if your luck is so bad, you go to India, you go to this particular place, you take a bath in this particular tirtha and all this. But now, unfortunately, say like we have a China devotee here. The China devotee can't even go to India. India and China is having a big conflict. So China is not giving any pass to go to India. So then how are they going to happen? How the purification going to happen? All right. So here Krishna says, but Adi Shankara, okay, Jagat Guru Adi Shankara said very clearly and very nicely, if one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reaction of his past misdeeds, all right, past misdeeds, all the misdeeds and all the karma that we have accumulated in previous birth will not act upon you. Isn't that the most easiest and the most sublime method of doing such ritual? Okay, just have a Bhagavad Gita in your hand and just read it, and you can achieve all the previous birth. All these things will never act upon you. Okay, this is very effective and it's very cheap, and you can do it anytime. All right, it's not like you don't need to take visa, you just go once in a while, but every single day, morning and evening, if you're just going to take a Bhagavad Gita, just carry a Bhagavad Gita with you. Go with Bhagavad Gita. Don't leave your house without Bhagavad Gita. Keep it in your handbag, keep it in your car glove box. Why? You will also study as we go on. What is the advantage of carrying a Bhagavad Gita wherever you go? Okay, so have it with you. Whenever you're stuck in the jam, just take the Bhagavad Gita, just open and just read a verse and just start to contemplate. And you won't believe the amount of blessings that you're going to receive. It's unbelievable. All right. So with that reflection, Let's start today's program. Now, understanding Gita. Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That is to say, he must be a devotee in direct relationship. So that means if you want to really understand Bhagavad Gita, you must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. Okay, this is very elaborate subject matter, but briefly it can be stated that a devotee is in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of the 5 ways. So now when we talk about we must have a direct relationship with God, then how am I supposed to create the relationship? There is 5 ways of creating or building relationship with the Lord. That's number 1. One may be a devotee in a passive state. Be very passive. Just read Bhagavad Gita, just chant your rounds and just like, okay, passive. And some may be a devotee in an active state, actively involved. One may be a devotee as a friend, or you feel like Krishna as a friend. And one may be a devotee as a parent. Okay. Or one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover. You still like feel like loving Krishna and all this. So this is the 5 different ways a person approaches and become a devotee of Krishna. Okay. So today, let's start our chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. Let's look at 2.1. Now, Sanjaya is continuing. Sanjaya is who? Dhritarashtra's secretary and also prime minister. So, he's getting the vision. After he's hear all the lamentation of Arjuna, now he's continuing. All right. Now, Sanjaya said, Sanjaya uvacha tang tata kripaya vishtam Ashrupurna kulekshanam Vishedantam edang vakyam Uvacha Madhusudana. Sanjaya said, okay, seeing Arjuna full of compassion. Who is seeing Arjuna full of compassion? Krishna. Krishna is seeing, all right? So he's seeing that, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears. Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the following words. So now let's look at it. Now in here, we understand how Arjuna looked like. That means Arjuna his mind was so depressed. Okay, he was so depressed. Number 2, his eyes full of tears. That means what? He is crying. Arjuna is crying. Imagine a person who are depressed, crying. You know, he was like crying out. He was crying, how am I supposed to kill my relation? And he was crying in great agony. He's crying. All right. And Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Now Krishna start speaking. All right. So always in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is addressed as Bhagavan. All right. So let's look at it. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalam Idang Visame Samupastitam Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirti Karamarjuna. Now let's look at the word Kasmalam. Kashmalam. Sometimes in Tamil, the word Kashmalam can be considered a very arrogant word. Hey, Kasmalam. Hey, Kasmalam. Sometimes they say it's a kind of arrogant word, Kasmalam. Right? Kasmalam. But what is actually the meaning of Kasmalam? Kashmalam. Kashmalam means impurities, dirt, right? Which is extremely dirty. Okay, when we say dirt, dirty and all this, is so abominable. It's so dirty. Is it? Kasmalam. They said very Kasmalam. That means people who don't bathe. I remember my grandfather, hey, Kasmalam. I was thinking, why my grandfather calling me Kasmalam? Now I understand. Kasmalam means you're extremely dirty. After you're playing in mud and everything, come back home, like that. So now Krishna is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities, Kasmalam, come upon you? How have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Anarya Justam Asvargyam. Svarga means higher planet, heavenly. Asvargyam means the opposite. That means it's not going to take you up. It's going to bring you down. Akirti Karam Arjuna. So they are not befitting a man who knows the value of life. And they lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. All right, you will be ridiculed. In other words, for Arjuna, this is not the first voice fighting. Okay, as we go on in Bhagavad Gita, you also start to see that Krishna will also address Arjuna as Dhananjaya. What does Dhananjaya means? Dhanan means wealth. Jaya means the one who wins the wealth. So he used to go for a war. All right, he used to go for a war. When he captures the country, he takes the wealth. Usually it's like that, right? When a country invade another country, the first thing they whack all the wealth, gold, and everything. The same thing happened when the British came to India. They take all the wealth first, all the gold, Kohinoor, everything they take. That's very normal in war. Okay, so he's telling how have these. That means you're not a. I mean, what we understand from here is Arjuna is not a new soldier, new fighter. He's a veteran. During this war, Arjuna is around 100 plus years old and Krishna is 123 years old. Despite such a elder, but they look very young because those days they didn't live a long life, right? Because it's a previous yuga. Okay, what is that? Also, we discuss as we go on. So he's telling, how can this thing come to you? Arjuna, Krishna was surprised. You know, when you all are ready to fight, when you are a seasonal fighter, just like, okay, for instance, like you are a karate fighter. All right, you want to fight karate. Okay, then after that you go to the Olympics. Okay, after you win all the war, you come to the final gold medal round. In that gold medal round, suddenly you look at the floor, you start to see, oh my God, it's my cousin and everything. Then you go and cry to a coach. Coach, I don't want to fight. Why? Because that guy is my cousin brother. I love him so much. I cannot kick him. I cannot punch him. You know, I cannot whack him. I said, hey, what are you talking? This is Olympics. This is final gold medalist. You go and fight. How did this nonsense come into your mind? Just like that. All right, just think about that scenario. You see, how can this be when we all prepared to fight? Now you want to chabudlar, you want to run away. What does this mean? Then Arjuna says, 2.6. Okay, now we are jumping to 2.6. Then after all these things, then Arjuna is saying, Arjuna vacha, nai chaitat vitma kataram no gariyo, yatva jayema vadin vano jayeyu, yan eva hatva na jiji vishamas te vastita pramuke dartarastara. Nai chaitat vitma kataran no gariyo yatva jayema yadiva no jayeyuhu yan eva hatva na jiji vishamas te vastita pramukhe dartarastara. Now you can feel, if you study Bhagavad Gita every day, as you go on reading, now you can feel, even in this mantra, when we chant this verse, we can feel the distress of Arjuna. Na chaitad vitma kataran no gariyo yatva jayema yadiva no jayeyu yan eva hatva na jiji vishamas tevastita pramukhe dartarastara. Arjuna said, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now you can feel the agony of Arjuna. He's telling, which is better, to be killed or kill them? But if we kill sons of Dhritarashtra, which is own Pangali, own uncle, I mean the first cousin, he said, we should not care to live. No point. But still, these guys are standing right in front of us in the battlefield. He was so heartbroken. So now we understand the reasons of not fighting. Yesterday, chapter 1, text 28-30, compassion, no enjoyment, even victorious, fear on sinful reaction, destruction of family tradition. And now in this text 6:2-6, it is indecision. He doesn't know, is it worth, he couldn't make a decision. He couldn't make up his mind whether it's worth fighting or not. All right. Then 2.7, Arjuna is continuing. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha prachami tvang dharma samudacheta Yachreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me. Shishyaste hangshadi mangtvang prapannam. He couldn't make a decision. He's so much in agony. He's so much in confusion. He's so much distressed, depressed, and he just don't know what to do. And Krishna now he's saying, now he's continuing. He said, now I am confused. Now I'm confused about my duty. All right. I'm confused because all the while he was trained as a soldier to fight with his enemy. But the people who are right in front, his family and friends. I'm confused of my duty and have lost all composure. He cannot make any decision. He lost all composure because of miserly weakness. Miserly weakness. So in this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. So he couldn't make a decision. He's telling Krishna, now I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Okay, now I'm your disciple and soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Now the Gita starts. So now Arjuna, what he said? He is surrendering to Krishna. All right. He said, he didn't say, tell me for certain what is best for me. All right. Since you are my cousin, give me suggestion. All right. Give me assurance or give me ideas. He was not telling that. He's not saying, give me suggestion, give me ideas. All right. Or give your opinion. He straight away surrenders. He says, I'm your disciple. So what does that disciple means? We can say, I am your student. All right. He can say, but why he use the word disciple? Shishya, you used to see the word Shishya. Shishya ste ham shadi mang tvang prapannam. Shishya means when a disciple surrenders to the guru, and the only thing is when and what happened? He surrendered fully to the guru. He completely surrendered to a guru. And after that, the guru-disciple relationship is very simple, very straightforward. The guru instruct, the disciple follow the instruction. It is not the guru will never give suggestion. He give you instruction. Do this, yes, guru. Do that, yes, guru. That's how. Okay. So he's telling, so soul surrender unto you. Then he's telling, give me instruction. He didn't say, give me suggestion. Give me opinion. He said, instruct me what to do. Now, 11 to 11. Now Krishna is continuing. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Ashochan Anvashocastvang Pranyavadangscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasunscha Nanushochanti Panditaha. Nanushochanti Panditaha. He's saying, the Supreme Person of Godhead said, while speaking learned word, he was like, now you can feel that Krishna was somehow like annoyed. While speaking learned word, you are mourning for what is not worth of grief. You are lamenting, you are mourning. It's not lamenting, mourning. It's like what they call M-O-U-R, mourn, M-O-U-R-N, mourning. Okay, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. That means you are running for something which is not important, not worth of grief at all. When people die, you mourn, but you are just mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Then after that he says, those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. All right. So the wise people will never lament, no lamentation. All right. Neither for the living or for the dead. Okay. 12. Then after that, Krishna is continuing. Na tvevahang jatu nasang na tvang neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam ata param. So Krishna is continuing. He says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So he's telling, there was not a time that I did not exist. Okay. And also you. So that means, in other words, there was not a time that you and I was not existing. That means we were existing in this place from the day one of creation. Okay, we were created. And of course, then after that, Krishna says, not you and me, but and all these kings, all the flows were standing right in front. They also was existed before. And in the future, they also will still exist. All right. And like this, that means, in other words, that means we also will go on existing. Okay, just give me a second. Huh? Okay. Sorry. So now, all right. So you see, there was not a time. There was not a time that these people never existed, and there's not a time that in the future these people also will not exist. They will still exist. Okay. So that means in the future these people still exist. Okay. You all understand? I got distracted by a phone call. Can you all understand this? Are you all okay? Yes? Oh. Okay, good. You understand, huh? Okay. If any of you are confused, you can say, can raise your hand. I can explain again. All good? Or you can send a message. All right, great. Okay. So that means there was not a time that I did not exist, and also you. And in the future, all of us will also still exist. All right. Okay, good to go. Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, now let's look at 230. Now he's coming to the point. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir diras tatra na muhyati. Everyone, if you get a chance, please snapshot of this verse. Take a shot or take a camera. Just take a photo of this. This is very important verse. Okay. So here, what Krishna says, 213. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir diras tatra na muhyati. So what Krishna says here, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth, kaumaram, boyhood, yauvanam jara, to old age. Jara means old age, jara. Okay. The soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay. So now let's look at it. It's a very important verse. Okay, see what Krishna says here. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir diras tatra na muhyati. Okay, now what Krishna says here, as the embodied soul continuously passes, that means, see, formerly we had a body of a child, baby. Then we had a body of a toddler. Then we have a small boy. As we go on, we are all passing through by one body to one body. Okay, you can see the photo here. We are passing through for one. Okay, now let me get for you another thing, which is more clearer. Okay. So now you see, first we had a body of this. Then slowly we went to this body. Then after that, we just move on. Okay, now we have a body of a youth. Then after that, we got a middle age. Then eventually we're going to have a body of an elderly person. Then this thing. Until one day the body cannot change further. The soul gives up this body and go to the next one. Okay, when you look here, right? When you see from here, you just go up. Okay, you just pass through from all this. Okay, that means from boyhood to youth to old age until the body cannot go further. All right, what he says, Krishna says, A soul similarly passes into another body at death. So the death means in Bhagavad Gita, what we understand here is it's only a transition. You're moving from one place to another place. Okay. Once upon a time, I had a body of a small, tiny baby. Then after that, I evolved. I became bigger and bigger and bigger. And today I'm around middle age, 46. All right. This thing. Then eventually I'll come to 56, 76, 86. Then eventually one day my body cannot change further. What happened? I give up this body and I go to next body. And these changes is called death. So what Krishna says, a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So far, so good? Prabhu, sorry to interrupt. In my knowledge, sober means person who is not drunk or intoxicated. In this context, Gita, how is the term characterized as? See, sober means the person who are not lamenting, the person who are always calm and composed. Okay? Calm and composed. That means the person is not agitated, like, in other words, okay, let me see. Asked a very nice question. First time I'm here. Yeah, the person is sober. Say, like, for instance, the person is not agitated in his mind. Okay, that means not affected by alcohol or not drunk. Okay, another one is, okay, the second meaning is serious, sensible, and solemn. Okay, Tasaradan Prabhu, you got it? Okay, that means there's a two meaning. One is not affected by alcohol, not drunk. The second meaning is serious, sensible, and solemn. That means the person is very calm, super calm. Nice question, actually. All right. Okay. So the person is sober. That means the sober person who are calm, composed, and solemn, they're not affected because they know what is happening is a transition period. Okay. Now let's look at this very interesting verse 217. Avinashi tu tat viddi yena sarvam idang tatam vinasham an avyayasya na kashchit kartum arhati. So what in this verse says? That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one able to destroy that imperishable soul. So the thing that pervades the entire body, what does it that pervades the entire body? All right, what does that mean, pervading the entire body? The one that controls, the one is everywhere. All right, just like when the sun rises in the dark, see, it's dark now. When the sun rises, all the darkness will dissipate, all the darkness will disappear. So that means what? The sun pervades the entire place. So there's no trace of darkness. Similarly, there is a thing called a very powerful element that within us that pervades the entire body. Okay. And this the thing that pervades the entire body, we must understand as indestructible. That means this thing cannot be destroyed. That means, or in other words, no one able to destroy that imperishable soul. So that means I am this body, I am living in this body, but this body is a vehicle. I am the soul. Atato Brahma Jignasa. I am the soul. So since I am the soul, I am indestructible. Okay, no one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. So far, so good. All of you following me on this? Okay.
Yes. Yes, Jay.
Okay. Good. Now, then after that, let's jump to 22. All right, 22. Vasangsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grinnati naro parani tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sangyati navani dehi. Okay, let's see what Krishna says here. As a person puts on a new garment, okay, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up the old and useless one. Right? Say, like, for instance, when it comes to like our bogi, right? When you celebrate Pongal, what we do? We take all the old clothes and throw. We burn it. or the torn things, right? When the shirt is torn and everything, okay? So initially they said, okay, we sent to the thing, okay, the tailor tried to patch it, this and that, until you can't patch it, okay? First example, first thing, the shirt is slightly tear, okay? There's a slight tear, okay? You send to the, what they call, you send to this tailor. The tailor just sew it for you. That is just like a disease. Sometimes when we have disease, we see a doctor, we just take some medicine, we are out of that. Then secondly, if there's a tear, okay, there's a big tear. So you send to that, what they call, to the tailor. So what the tailor will do, he will try to take other cloth and put it and try to patch it and try to sew it very nicely. That is called surgery. Okay. Then if the shirt becomes so crumble and very old and very torn, you go to the tailor says, you better give this up and get a new one. That is called death. All right. So example here, Krishna is saying in 22, a person who puts on new garment. That means if I got a torn shirt, I throw it away and I start wearing a new one, giving up the old one. So the same way, the soul accepts a new material body, giving up the old and useless one. So what are the conditions that the soul gives up the body? When the body becomes diseased, when the body met an accident or broken into pieces, it cannot be cured by itself. The soul simply give up that and just go to the next one. It's simple as that. Okay, just like when you see here, when the pig comes, okay, when the death comes, and again there's a new birth starts, and that is how we go on taking birth again and again and again. We go on born. All right, only thing that dies is the material body. All right, now let's look at this. Now here Krishna is explaining about the soul. Okay, what is that soul? Okay, who are we, the soul? All right, now it says in text 23, 2:23, it says, the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon. You cannot cut the soul into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be burnt by fire. It cannot be moistened by water, or it can be withered by wind. Okay, the individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble. You can't break it, and it doesn't. You put in the water, it doesn't get. It's not soluble, and can be neither burnt nor dried. You cannot burn it. You can't even dry it. He is everlasting. He's forever, present everywhere. He lives everywhere. Unchangeable. He doesn't change. Immovable and eternally the same. Right? It is said in 25, it is said that soul is invisible, inconceivable, that means cannot be understood, immutable, that means he cannot sit in one place. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. When you know this, you don't grieve for the body. You don't lament for the body. Okay, example like this. Now, when you look at it, you can't burn the soul. Okay, you can't burn the soul because there in the fire there is also living elements. They found in a lava, in a what they call in a volcano lava. They took it and they found out there is a germs and living entity lives in that lava. That means it has a suitable body to live there. So anything that lives and moves, that means there is a thing called soul, because the soul is immovable. I mean, what they call the soul is immutable. You cannot keep the soul muted. When the soul is muted, means the person is dead. All right. So like that. So it cannot be burnt, and you can't cut it because it's so tiny. You cannot put into the water and try to solve it. Soluble. It's not insoluble. It cannot be withered by wind. You cannot be dried. You cannot put under the sun and try to dry the soul. The soul doesn't get dry. You can't even break it. And you know what? You know what is the size of the soul? The size of the soul, you take a tip of your hair, a tip from your hair, and you slice it 10,000 times. According to the Shastra, it says, you take the tip of the hair and you slice it 10,000 times. That is the size of the soul. And you can't see it with your naked eyes. You can't even see it under this thing. All right? Everything that movable, everything that moves around this world, everything that moves, even a worm in the stool, it is still moving and this thing because there is a soul. All right. Without soul, nothing moves. All right. Okay. Now let's look at verse 27 and 28. Jasya jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mrityasya cha Tasmat apariharyerte natvang shochitam arhasi avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidanyeva tatra ka paridevana. What Krishna says, one who has taken jatasya he dhruvo mrityur. Jata, jananam, okay, those who born. Dhruvo mrityu, mrityu means death. So one who has taken his birth is sure to die. No one of us is going to live forever. Today is 2024. In 2124, 100 years from today, none of us will exist. None of us will exist in this material body. Of course, we exist. Of course, we forever exist. Okay, we exist in different. But this material body that we are living in now will cease to exist definitely in by 2124. All right. So those who have taken his birth sure to die. Okay. After we get a birth certificate, we are just going towards death certificate. So Krishna was so great. The nature was so good. He has created you in a very unique way. Do you know the thumbprint that you have never existed before and will never exist in the future? It's authentically and uniquely yours in this very birth. That's it. The way you look, the way you talk, even your DNA, even your cornea graph, your cornea, everything is unique. Even the way that you look, see yourself in front of the mirror, that look never existed before and will never exist in the future. It's authentically yours. All right. But what happened? This perfect creation of this nature comes with expiry date. It comes with the expiry date. Okay. It case that once you're taken birth is sure to die. And after death, when a person dies, one is sure to take birth again. He has to be born again. So therefore, in the unavoidable, nobody can avoid this situation. Even how great doctor, how great medical, what they call, invention, the latest medicine, whatever, it can never prevent person from dying. Okay, there's one business. I don't want to mention the name. They created this kind of polyphenol kind of nutrition. They said they can reverse old age. All right. They can reverse old age. They can make that the mutation of the DNA. That means the aging DNA, they try, can aging cell, they try to reduce it. There was such a big thing they were talking. And the person who talked so big, right, he used to bombard this medicine to him. He used to take a lot of this and eventually he died. He's a dentist. All right. So anyway, so there is so many things. He's sure to die. And once they die, they're sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable, you can't avoid it. Discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So don't lament. There's no need for lamentation. Then after that, Krishna countering, Avyaktani bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. All created beings are unmanifest in the beginning. In the beginning, things were unmanifest. And after that, it manifests in the interim state in between. It starts to manifest and also unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need there for lamentation? Then why you should start lamenting? Example, see this mic that I'm using. Once upon a time, it was in the nature as a raw material. It never manifested. Then the engineers or whatever, they took all this raw material, they start to combine it, and now I got a mic here. It's interim state. Eventually, one day this mic will spoil. So I'm going to throw it back. And what they do, they're going to take this and they're going to send for recycle. They're going to burn it or they're going to crush it. It goes into unmanifest state again. Similarly, we as a human being, formerly we were not existed. Then in between, we start to exist. That means we were in the mother's womb. All right, we never appeared. Then after that, we came out. Then we start to be this thing. And in the future, we will also disappear. From the mother's womb, we'll go into incinerator, or we'll end up in underground, whatever it is. So we disappear again. So Krishna says, what is there need for lamentation? It's very normal. So why you need to lament? Okay. So this is the question that from Chitraketu. Manifested means appearing. Okay, Prabhu? Appearing. That means a manifest means once upon a time, this mic was not there. You understand, Prabhu? And now the mic was created. So that means it has manifested. it had appeared. Then in the future, when the mic spoiled, is throw it away, it become disappear. Manifestation, opposite is disappearance. You got it? All right. Okay. Now, the lamentation of Chitraketu Maharaj. Chitraketu Maharaj was a king, and he was after so many years, he was childless. Eventually, he got a child. All right. After the child born, when the child was young, okay, when he's still a baby, suddenly the child passed away. After so many years, right? So many meditation, davam, at last he got a baby, and eventually the baby died. He was so lamenting. He was like so heartbroken. He was crying and crying and crying. The whole kingdom was crying. My one and only son, the heir to the kingdom, now he's dead. What am I supposed to do? The whole thing was running, lamenting, Opari. And the time Narada Muni was traveling, you see Narada, okay? Narada was traveling, and suddenly they said, why there's I heard some crying. Then he went there. He said, then he asked Chitraketu, his name is King Chitraketu. He said, what happened? Why you're crying? My one and only son has died. I said, isn't that's a natural process? But no, it's not fair. I need. He said, okay. Then he said, Narada, if you possible, can you bring him back to life? He said, okay. Then he just, with his mystic this thing, he brought the baby back to life. So as a baby, suddenly when he get back to life, suddenly the baby got up and start talking. And everybody was astonished. Such a baby suddenly start talking. And he asked, then the Chitraketu Maharaj went and said, oh my son, oh my son. Then the baby looked at the father and said, who are you? Oh, I'm your father. Oh, really? You're my father from which birth? I can't recall you when you became my father. In which birth? Was it when this? So that's when he started to realize. Of course, it's a very elaborate story. You can find it in Srimad Bhagavatam. All right. Now, let's look at 31. Swadharmam apicha veksha na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yudaktreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. What Krishna says here. Considering a specific duty as Kshatriya. Now Krishna is continuing. He said, you are a Kshatriya. It means you are a soldier. Kshatriya means soldier. You should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on a religious principle. So that means for a soldier, whenever there is a chance, whenever the opportunity to fight a war, they'll be very excited. They say, yes, we got a chance to fight. They're always looking forward. All right. And there's no need for hesitation. That means you shouldn't hesitate. Say, like, for instance, for a Brahmana, educated person, what is their ornament? What is that make them beauty? They are intelligent. For a Vaishya businessman, what is that make them beautiful? The gold and jewelry, to show their wealth. And for Shudra, the servants, what is their wealth? By being very obedient and very, what they call, what is the word? Viswasam, what they call Viswasam in English?
Trustworthy.
Loyalty.
What is that?
Trustworthy.
No, not that.
Loyalty.
Dedicated.
No, not dedicated. Loyalty, yes, that's the word. Loyalty. So, loyalty is the beauty of a Shudra. But now, for Kshatriya, what is the beauty? The mark on the face. When they fight, there's a cut on the face, there's a cut here, there's a cut here. The mark in the body, the what they call the wound. That is the beauty for a warrior. And the warrior always looking forward when the war will come, because they're just so excited to fight. Because that's their dharma. Okay? Just like for a businessman, always looking for a business opportunity, where I can go, when I can expand my business. For a Brahmana, how much I can expand the knowledge to others. How can I create more and more students and let them understand the Sastras and the Bhagavad Gitas, right? And the Shudras, okay, how much I can go on serve my master, and how can I satisfy? So they're always looking forward. It's the same thing. The soldiers are always looking forward for war. All right. So now in 237, refuting the enjoyment argument, because Krishna says, remember that before that Arjuna was telling, how can I enjoy the kingdom without my relation? All right. So now refuting 237, what he says, oh son of Kunti, Arjuna's mother's name is Kunti Devi. So Krishna also will address him as son of Kunti. Either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly king planet, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and determination and fight. Get up with determination and fight. Why? Can anyone tell me? Okay. What does this mean? You win, you go to you get a kingdom. But if you die, you go to heaven. So there's not wastage. Why? What is the reason? All those students who have attended before, please don't answer. Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, don't. I know you could answer that. Others, give chance to others. Anyone? Anyone can recall? Yesterday we discussed. Or you can send a message. Oh, someone sent a message. Get credits in either way. Yeah, why? Where? We discussed about it yesterday. Where it get credits? Why? What is the reason? Anyone can recall? No one? Alama. No one can recall. Because they are fighting in Kurukshetra. No, not he's the friend of the Lord. Because he's fighting in Kurukshetra. Remember yesterday we discussed. What is the advantage of fighting? Huh?
No, they go to heaven when they fight, when they die.
Yeah, that's the thing. Why? Because of fighting in Kurukshetra. Yes or not?
Right.
They're going to fight behind the house? Cannot. But they are fighting in Kurukshetra. What is the advantage? When they fight, they win. Yes, they fight, they win, they get earthly kingdom. All right? And they fight, they win, but they didn't win. They lost, they go to heavenly planet. But if you don't fight, he'll be infamy of being coward. So he'll be very infamous person. That means people will start to call him coward. You know? They say, hey, you coward. Arjuna was such a coward. Everybody will start laugh at him. And that for an honorable man, dishonor is worse than death. For an honorable man, dishonor is worse than death. So this Krishna, so people will laugh at you. You know, being a coward. They're not going to say, no, he's very compassionate. That's why he went to the wild, because he doesn't want to kill his family members. They all say, see, look at this, chicken. All right, the scaredy cat run away already. No, it's like that. Okay. Now, okay. So there's always a question we must ask. Who am I? In Bengali, they say, Ke Ami. Who am I? That is that question that all of us should ask. Now I understand I'm a soul. There's a soul and all these things. But now, who am I? Okay. What am I? What is my relationship? That is how distinct a person from an animal. Because when you see animal, they have these 4 things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And so human also do the same thing. They eat, they sleep, they mate, and they defend. So what is the difference between man and an animal, man and a dog, man and a cat? All right. So what is the difference? Okay. We're going to continue in the discussion. All right. So for a human being, men are given better facilities. Example, when you look at that government, what they call the government officer, he gets better facility. Like when you see the prime minister, or okay, like, because see, I'm from Tambun. Okay, the place I'm staying where Anwar Ibrahim won. And every weekend you can see this guy here. Every weekend you can see all that, that siren and everything. They always block the road so that the prime minister can go through. Okay. Now, so we see that all these things happening. All right. So that means why does he need to give such a facility? Because of his some what they call, he's given us some privilege as important duties. Similarly, a human being is given more facility to discharge higher duties than a cat. The cat only knows how to go and look for a food. Where the cat goes, if you look at the dog, the stray dog especially, or stray cat, the fella run from one corner to one corner. They are running where? Looking for a food. Suddenly they smell something, they go find a food. And from there, they go and run and find a food. Then after that, when you see another dog come into the territory, don't come near me, they fight. They defend their territory. After that, when the she dogs come, the female dogs come, he start to have fun, have sex with that female dog. Right? Then after that, when he start to have puppy and everything, and of course he sleeps, he go and sleep. So the same thing human are doing. But human are doing it in a very sophisticated way. We sleep on a nice Dunlop mattress. All right? and we eat in a nice place. Okay. Then we sleep and we eat, we defend. All right. We build a house, we put all the CCTV camera all around the house. We are trying to defend ourselves, defend our children. And we also have sex to create progeny. So there's no difference between human and animal. So now here we understand humans are given more facility to discharge higher duties. And what are they? We will study as we go on. All right. So now we have already completed part 1. Okay, shall we take 3 minutes break? Any questions before that? Are you all following me? Is it okay? Is it too heavy information? I try to present it as simple as I can. All good. Okay. Okay. All right. So now it's 8:37. Let's take 3 minutes break and we meet again shortly. All right, just get up, stretch your hand, have a water, and come back. Hare Krishna. I have a question. If the size of the soul is said, how can he present everywhere? What is that meaning from 26? He present everywhere means everything around us is moving. Everything is dwelling. You see mosquitoes, you see plants, even you see bacteria. You know, in our body, we are full of cells, combination of cells create this body. The cells, that means it pervades everywhere, means the soul is everywhere. Okay? You got it? So that's why he says by pervades everywhere. That means everything you see that moves, you think the thing that dwells, the thing that run around, see like there's a fly is running around me. So that means the soul is everywhere. All right. Thank you for nice question. Okay, we will study that in our upcoming, because this is only a introduction. I mean, this is only what they call a summary of Gita. But all these things detail we will study as we go on. Okay, now let's look at this understanding of Gita. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, he speaks. He is mentioned on every page in Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or called Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigods or devas. And certainly here Bhagavan designates Lord Sri Krishna as the great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters, all right? All the great acharyas. See, anything that we want, we must have reference. Who is the person? All right, great acharya like spiritual master like Sankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also established himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we will study that as we go on. And is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Bhagavad Purana, Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead himself. That means we should take Bhagavad Gita as per presented by Krishna himself. Okay, like Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 1. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Brahma sings that. Chapter 5, text 1, he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. We studied just now. Ishvara means, I think yesterday or today we studied about Ishvara. Yes, yesterday, Ishvara. One of the first things is Ishvara, right? Ishvara means what? Can anyone tell me what is Ishvara? Can anyone of you recall? Ishvara means what?
Controller, Prabhu.
No, not God. Who said that?
Controller.
Yeah, who said that?
Ravalakshmi.
Ah, very good. Fantastic. Ishvara means controller. All right. Very nice. Very good. So Ishvara means controller. Parama means supreme. Param. So the supreme controller is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The supreme controller is Krishna. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. Ananda. Ananda means beautiful. Vigraha, body. Vigraha means body. Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. All right. So with that, let's start our part 2 of chapter 2. Okay. So recap. So now we have already studied on Sankhya Yoga, the scientific analytical study, descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body. And now let's continue on Buddhi Yoga, work in Krishna consciousness in full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. All right. What does this mean? Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi means knowledge, intelligent. Okay. 239. Krishna continues. Esha te bihita sankhe buddhir yoge tvimang shrunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandang prahasyasi. What does it mean? Lord Krishna says, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. All right, how the soul looks like and how the things in all pervading and everything. And now listen as I explain in terms of working without fruitive result, how we can work without expecting any result. All right, O son of Pritha. Pritha means the mother of Arjuna, also called as Partha. So that's why it's called Pritha. That's why when you see there's one form of Krishna as a chariot rider. You know, the chariot rider, he rides the chariot for Arjuna. That's why he's called as Partha Sarthi. Sarthi means driver. Partha means Arjuna, driver to Arjuna. That's why there's also a very famous temple in South India. They call Partha Sarthi temple. Okay. So now he says, O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. What knowledge? Working without fruitive results. Okay. 40. Krishna continues. Neha bikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swa alpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. All right. So what does it mean? In this endeavor, working without fruitive result, all right, and engaging in yourself in the service, in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution. That means when you do this, you're not going to be the loser. And little advancement on this path, a little advancement of this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is that most dangerous type of fear? The dangerous type of fear is when we lose the opportunity to be born as a human being, but we fall into the animal kingdom. That is the worst thing to be. That is the worst thing to be. Right? Nowadays, you see, the life of animal, especially in this Kali Yuga, is terrible. All right? They cook fish alive. They kill animals in a very merciless way. You know, so a lot of things, okay? You all should know that. So the most dangerous type of fear is to be born in an animal kingdom. All right? So this little effort can save one from this dangerous type of fear. Example, now you have already passed through chapter 1. Now we're going through chapter 2. Fear referred to as detachment from the Lord. Fear means scared. What is that fear? Of course, detachment from the Lord is also a great fear. You know, when we are detached from the Lord is also great fear. But that is secondary. But the primary thing is when we forget, when we lose the opportunity to be born as a human being. All right. See, once I'm a human being, of course, sometimes I fear that I forget Krishna. I forget the Lord. Of course, then after that, I can remember back. But the worst thing, once we fall into the animal kingdom, we're going to go through the transmigration from one species to another species. We also will discuss this in the chapter 3. All right. Now, in this life, you can be a graduate. In this life, you can be a teacher, you can be a doctor or whatever. But in next life, you're going to start back from ABC. So material qualification does not continue in next life. Starts from 0. Okay. But in this life, when you're going to practice a little bit bhakti, right? In little bit bhakti, however, spiritual qualification continue in the next life from where it has left. So that means in this birth, now example, now you're studying only up to chapter 2, then after that you stop it. You are not going to come for this Gita class anymore. So that means your seed, beach of bhakti has sprouted. You're going to be born again, all right, into the human form. At least that is guaranteed. Human form is guaranteed. And you're going to continue where you stopped. Maybe you stop from chapter 2, you're going to start from chapter 3, and you're going to evolve further. Example, this birth, I've done 10%. I'll be born again, and I'm going to continue from where I stopped. From the 11th person I go. And after that, the next birth I did maybe up to 30% or 50%. Then the following birth, I'll be continue from where I stopped. Just like that. So in this life, you practice. In the next life, you're just going to continue where you have stopped. All right. Now, 246. Krishna says this very nicely. Yavan atta udapane sarvata sampluto dake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. What does it mean? All purpose served by a small well. The small well, what is the purpose of the small well? Can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. So what we're going to use from the small well for bathing, cooking, eating, or drinking, or whatever, the same small well can also, what they call, can at once, that means at that once, can be served by the great reservoir of water. Okay. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas, all the purpose, there's so much of Vedas. That means we got 4 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. All right. And after that, they have the expansion. We will discuss this also. All these we discuss. What are the 4 Vedas and what are the expansion? So all that 4 Vedas, what is the purpose of all Vedas? Okay. Can be served to one who know the purpose behind them. I mean, it can serve the one who knows the purpose behind all the Vedas. And what is that purpose? In 15:15, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, it says, Vedais cha sarver aham. Aham means me. Eva Vedyo. By all Vedas, I am to be known. All right. Now, let's look at this. 47. Karmanyevadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palahe turbur ma te sangostva karmani. What does it mean? You have right to perform your prescribed duty. Krishna is telling, you have right to perform your prescribed duty. What does it mean by prescribed duty? All right, when you see a doctor, the doctor give you a prescription. What does that prescription? This is only meant for you. You cannot take your medicine and give to your neighbor. All right. Are you having headache? I got this medicine. I take. No, prescribe means prescription authentically for you. So there's a prescribed. That means all of us have a prescribed duty. We may be in any job, any kind of job that we are involved. Okay. So you have right. Krishna says you have right to prescribe, to perform your prescribed duty. By the same time, he says, but you're not entitled to the fruits of the action. You're not entitled for the fruit of action. All right. Because sometimes when we do our job, we don't know what's going to be the result. Example, just now I saw someone by the name Chegu. Is it Dasarathan? Are you a teacher? Okay, Dasarathan is a teacher. Now, Dasarathan as a teacher, he's teaching. Okay. He's teaching maybe 30 students. And that 30 students can be from any background. Maybe one of that student of him in the future can become a great terrorist. Maybe one of the student in the future can turn back and just create a racial slur. And he says all that non-Malays get out from the country. Or he can create any kind of things. But what do Dasarathan do? He has no right to the fruits of action. His job is simply to teach. And how he teaches with all his heart. Whether what is that person going to be in the future, it's not in his hand. Okay, like that now we have also like Dr. Manjit. I saw one person, Dr. Manjit. Yes. All right, like Dr. Manjit. What happened? When a person who is such a terrorist like Osama or whatever, big terrorist is sick and come to him, he cannot say, oh, he's a terrorist, he's going to create a lot of trouble. I can kill him on the bait. No, he cannot do that, right? His duty is to save his life, no matter what. That's why in medical term, they call them patient. My wife was a psychiatric pharmacist, all right? So sometimes she come back home, she'll be telling, that one patient, I ask this question, Is it an Indian? Is it a Chinese? Is it a Malay? Until one day she got so annoyed. He said, can you stop asking who are they? We do not see any of them by their racial color or this thing. We just see them as patient. All right. So their job doesn't matter. When a person comes, they just simply perform the duty. And what they're going to do in the future, we are not entitled. So the same thing here. So you have right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. What are the benefits you're going to get? You're not entitled. We don't know what's going to happen. The student can be a great man, can be the next prime minister, or the student can be the next worst terrorist. It's not in our hand. So then after that, Krishna continues, never consider yourself. Never think that yourself cause of the result of your activity. Don't think because of you, everything happens. You are not the cause. All right. Sometimes when you see, oh, my student, sometimes they say, my student now is a prime minister. Yeah, right. Your student is a prime minister. But you go and tell the student, oh, you are my student. I said, really? But the one inspired me was my college professor. So like that, right? So never consider yourself the cause of the result of the activities, the cause of the result. No. At the same time, Krishna continues, never be attached for not doing your duty. All right. And also don't think because of that, I'm not going to do my job. What's the point I'm teaching them? What's the point when someone comes, no point saving their life. In fact, in medical line, as long there's a life in the body, they will try all their best to save him. Even there's no hope to save him. They'll fight to the end. And imagine the amount of resources they use, the medicine and everything. It costs so much of money, right? It gets sort of, you take that, you take the drip and everything. Even though they know pretty well this fellow going to die. He's going to die. I just throw him aside. Just send him to mortuary. He's going to die. He's not doing that, right? So that means we are not going to say, this fellow going to die. No point looking at him. Just wrap him up and just let him die, then throw him into the mortuary. We don't say that. Right? So that's why I say, never be attached for not doing your duty. 49. After that, Krishna says, this is one of my most favorite verse. Durena hiya varam karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvicha kripana palahetava. Durena. In Tamil also we call duram. Duram means far away. Durena, far away. What? Hiya varam karma. What is hiya varam karma? Hiya varam means abominable. Karma means activity. And now here, see the word Dhananjaya. Now Krishna is referring him to Dhananjaya because he's the veteran fighter. He's the one who brings wealth. So he says, oh Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities, all that nasty activities far distant. Durena, far distant. By how? By devotional service. By performing devotional service, you could put away all that abominable, all that unwanted things, lamentation, distress. Oh my God, my cousin going to die, my relation going to die, my brother going to die, these going to die. They are so sick and I'm going to fight against my own cousins. I'm going to kill my cousins. I'm going to kill my relation. All these impurities, all the thing that cause distress, all the thing that causes attachment, put it far away. Durena. How? By devotional service. When we start to perform devotional service, all these abominable activities will be thrown far away. And what are you going to achieve? You're going to achieve tremendous peace of mind. People are investing so much of money. Creating peace of mind is the biggest business in the world now. There's more and more nightclubs, more and more hill stations, all are coming up. Like in Ipoh, it's a massive development. The Sunway Group is creating Tambun City, right? Sunway City. Why? So people can come there to release their stress. They're all in anxieties, depressed, stressed. They got a lot of money, but they don't have life, right? So they say, so throw away all these things, right? All these abominable activity far distant by devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. In that consciousness, when you're very clear, you surrender unto the Lord. But after that, you continue. Those who want to enjoy the fruits, what I get, I'm going to enjoy. Fruits of their work are misers. These are the first going to suffer a lot when they want to enjoy what they have reaped. So, result of fruitive activities versus buddhi. Buddhi means intelligent, knowledge, right? Buddhi yoga. So now, fruitive activities, what happened? Loss, lose or diminution of the result. All the things that you work within this birth, everything is gone. It incurs sins, does not get rid of good and bad reaction. No guarantee of human life in next birth. Intelligence is not fixed. No peace and no happiness. Result in entanglement. You get entangled. Entangles want to work. But work in Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga, no loss or diminution of the result. 240. Chapter 2, text 40. Does not incur sin. 238. Refutation, okay? Get rid of all good and bad reaction. All the good and bad reaction, it get rid. 250. One is sure to be born as a human being, either in the family of cultured Brahmana or a rich aristocrat family. So that means when a person who this thing, they'll be born again, but not an ordinary birth. That means they're born into a cultured family, right? Or they'll born in the family of rich and aristocrat, like Ambani, all right? 240 purport. Intelligence is fixed and resolute. That means intelligence is fixed and you have the resolution. Result in peace and happiness. It creates a lot of peace and happiness. At least for that, we can try this out. Result in liberation. We want liberation, moksha. And free one from bondage of work. That means when you do your job, but you never get attached to work, it leaves that bondage. Okay. So now let's continue 54. Arjuna Vacha. Now Arjuna is asking. Now after listening to this, now Arjuna start asking a question. Sthita prannasya ka bhasha. Bhasha means bhasa. Bahasa. In Malay we call bahasa or bhasha. What they call language, how you speak. So stita pranyasya chaka bhasha samadhi tasya keshava stitadi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of those consciousness is thus merged in transcendence?" When a person, their consciousness become transcendental. Okay, what is the symptoms? How to know them? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? He's asked, how the people looks like? Okay. And now let's look at this in 56 and 57. How does he speak? Krishna answers. The quality implies, what is that question is actually how the intelligent and words respond to affection, anger, and neutrality. How the person speak means how he respond to affection, anger, and this thing. Transcendent means spiritual. Transcendence means spiritual. Okay. Anger and neutrality. All right. Now, the answer is the person is equipoised in happiness and distress. 56. 256. Equipoised means he's always in the middle. That means he's not excited with happiness and he's not distressed in this thing. Okay. Free from attachment, fear, and anger. Unaffected by good and evil. He's not affected by good and evil and firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. That is the person, how he speak. And how does he sit? It mentioned in text 58 and 59. It implies how he restrains his sense and mentality. How he controls his sense and mentality. That means the answer is he uses his sense only for Krishna service. Based on higher taste, he can control his senses. So analogy is like tortoise and devotee. Okay. Implies to keep sense always in the service of the Lord and withdraw the sense when it's not required. Just like when you look at the tortoise. What happened? When the thing is not required, the pull back inside. Similarly, a devotee, when the thing is not required, he just stop is what they call is stop wasting time, talking nonsense and all this. All right. We will study this as we go on in our coming chapters. And how does he walk? Implies how he engages his senses, how he engages his mind. So while engaging senses, he does with the regulation and religious principle. That means he got regulation. Okay. That means when he eat, what he eats, when he talk, what he, I mean, he control his senses by regulation. That's regulative principle and also religious principle. Okay. In 72, the last verse for the day. Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha Nainang prapya vimuhyati stitvasyang antakalepi brahma nirvanam richati. What does it mean? That is the way of spiritual and godly life. Krishna mentioned. After attaining which a man is not bewildered. After he attained that situation, he's not bewildered. Bewildered means he's not like agitated. He's not scared. Okay. If one is thus situated, if one is thus situated even at the hour of death, I mean, when the person can be like this, remain like this, even at the moment of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So once we enter into the kingdom of God, we will never born again. So I would like to introduce you the commitment of this formula. This formula is basically going to engage you in all this kind of opportunity. Number one, read Bhagavad Gita daily. Now today we have finished chapter 2. Now it's a very important chapter actually. But of course, I just take the important points. Please help me. After this program, just go on, read the Bhagavad Gita. The verse, you can't say the Sanskrit is okay. You don't look at the, just look at the translation and purport. Read the entire thing. All right? Before we start the tomorrow's class. That's when you start to appreciate. You start to understand actually what does this mean. So now we have already went through the summary study. Then secondly, distribute a Gita. There's so many people out there are looking for opportunity. All right? The best opportunity, the best charity that you can think of giving is giving a Bhagavad Gita. Now the wedding season has started. When you go there, you can give them what ang pao, right? You can give some ang pao, right? You give some money, muyi kase or something like that, right? So what I always suggest, give Bhagavad Gita as a gift. They will remember you forever. You know, they will remember you forever. Like that day, I think I was in my previous class, I was saying, you know, Prabhu, I've got a Gita during my wedding. And I asked how long you're married? 25 years. After 25 years of marriage, she still remember the person who gave the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, there's one person gave me a Bhagavad Gita as a wedding gift. But she forgotten the person who gave her gold, the person who gave her money and everything, all forgotten. But the person who gives Gita, they'll remember you forever. Okay? Like one person, he's a former assistant superintendent of police. That time I was distributing Bhagavad Gita in Batu Gajah area. Batu Gajah, there's a temple, Murugan temple. I was distributing. After so many years, after 20, 25 years, he came. Then after that, he became a regular devotee and everything. Then one day I asked, so how you first of all got in contact with Krishna consciousness? And he said, it's you. I said, me? What happened? You distributed my first Bhagavad Gita and I still keep the Bhagavad Gita. You sold me the Bhagavad Gita. And that Bhagavad Gita made me a devotee. So, distribute a Bhagavad Gita. Give charity. Just get one set of Bhagavad Gita and just give to someone. All right? And tell them, this book can save your life. 5,000 years ago message, valid till today. Of course, now we are only in chapter 2. You can't see it. But as we go on, you will be like mind-blowing. All right? And the third formula is chant. Chant the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is called the Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra, the mantra that is so potent and it can basically fulfill all your desires, including it can give you a tremendous peace of mind. All right. It can give you so much of happiness. And a person who is suffering from insomnia, right? The person couldn't sleep, insomnia. And after they start to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there's a big transformation happen. To that person, he could sleep well. And of course, I'm doing it every Thursday, I'm doing this Namahat program. There's one doctor who come, she's a gynecology. She's always under stress. When I first met her, she had a black, like panda, the eyes, the black spot, black ring or something like that. She is always under distress. So much of stress. There's another girl, also a doctor. She's a teacher, farm. All of them going through so much of stress. After 3 months coming for that program, we only meet once a week. And I start to see huge transformation happening in their life. She feels more sober. She feels more calm. She feels more happier. She feels more relaxed. So chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is very, 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 yes, dark circle. It's called dark circle. Thank you, Garishna. All right. So chanting Hare Krishna is work wonders. When Prabhupada left America, we left India, went to America, just brought this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and he transformed the hippies, all the drug addicts and everything. So is there any rules and regulation? None. Some people ask, can I read Bhagavad Gita when I'm having my monthly menses? No problem. Go ahead. You can read Bhagavad Gita when you're having a menses. Can I chant Hare Krishna in any way? You can chant Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter. Right? Do I need to become a vegetarian? Not necessary. Do I need to give up alcohol? Not necessary. Do I need to all that? Just forget it. Just chant your Hare Krishna and read your Bhagavad Gita. You know, when you just go on, of course, drinking alcohol, smoking is very bad for your health. Even you know, it's going to kill you eventually. And the death due to this is going to be very miserable, right? Because of bad habits. And illicit sex is also very bad for health, right? Then when you talk about intoxication, gambling also very bad for health, right? You gamble. Sometimes you lose everything, like KTM, Kuda Toto Magnum. We are so confident we're going to win, but end up we feel betrayed. We won't win. So it all doesn't work. But of course, I'm addicted to it. It's okay. Let the addiction stay. But just chant your Hare Krishna and read your Bhagavad Gita and don't worry about anything else. Don't think about quitting all this. You know what will happen? Scientifically, you're going to get higher taste. When you go on chanting Hare Krishna, you feel something will happen in your tongue. Suddenly you start not to like this. It happens. I'm not speculating. I've been in this movement for the last 31 years. In Hare Krishna, 31 years. And I've seen this due to transformation. People who loved, they all have transformed into a fantastic person. They never work hard to give up their bad habits. Bad habits not good. But don't worry about that. So is there any rules and regulation? Nothing. Just chant your Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So one round is 108. If possible, try to dedicate at least 1.5 hours of your life. Every day you chant. It's roughly around 16 rounds. And you start to see how it's going to transform. Of course, today I'm just giving you information. All right. So what you can start from today, you can start to read Bhagavad Gita first. Okay. Anyway, so I'm giving out this package, one book, Bhagavad Gita, one set of Japa Mala, and one Damodara card, like a mini altar. If you don't have altar at home, no need to worry. You just got a small one mini altar, all in for 50 ringgit. Just 50 ringgit. Okay. And including postage. And the price of that, I think, should cost around 60, 70 ringgit, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, subsidized. And there's also some donors donated. So that means I can even give out free. If you think you really can't afford it, you really want a set, please do not hesitate to ask me. I can send it for free. But if at all, if you think you want to buy it and give it to someone, it's also up to you. The set costs you 50 ringgit. And if you want it free, also, it's available. All right. So with that, we end the session. Is there any questions? Any comment? I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you got some kind of realization. All right. Any questions?
No, Prabhu.
Yes.
No, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheong Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Cheong Prabhu.
Yes.
I heard you are initiated.
Oh.
Chaitanya Doya Das, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how come you didn't tell me?
Daya.
Huh?
Chaitanya Daya.
Why you didn't tell me?
Oh, actually, it's not a big deal. It's only the beginning,
Hey, it's a big deal. I found it when I was, in a Chinese class.
I
That day
see.
I went to the Chinese class and they say that Cheong Prabhu from Johor has taken initiation and his name became Chaitanya Daya. Oh, really? How come I didn't know? So excited. Very nice.
Because
Yes, Gopi.
put it that
Gopi.
way. As I see your class, now I should say that, there's a lot of encountering, even the first chapter we're talking about, because recently I also encountered a family. They are happy family, I think most of the time, most of the people also encounter this. But then sometimes it comes in a very recent form. So sometimes, the happy family, then the husband died and that rendered them to great sorrow, you see.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this
true.
thing always happen in life.
Yeah.
Maybe, but the thing is, the irony is, people keep forgetting. So after this incident, then they forget it already. So this
Yeah.
thing is not telling us that wildlife, people don't question about it anymore. But
Yeah.
if you now, for example, if you look at Arjuna, now if he's going to kill his grandfather, his teacher, and live with it, how can he live?
Yeah.
That's his mindset, and also that's why of course Arjuna is a determined. He's a Satsya with all the ashram, this Vedic culture and all these things. He's wise. He's wise lah. Because it always says it only become wise. You are wise considered you are come into devotional service. So if you are wise with knowledge, we still not come to devotional service. For me, I don't think myself is still considered wise lah. I rascal number one lah. Again, you see, if Arjuna come to the point, just now you said, was quite a heavy commitment. Arjuna was asking, he said, Krishna, please instruct me. I think this one, even I initiate, I don't dare even to ask, Krishna, please instruct me.
Yeah.
But devotee, they tell me, senior devotee said, of course, this is Arjuna, his mind and all this thing, he merged into transcendence already. But we, although in this stage, are not. But there's also one way that we can do, is that we don't ask Krishna to instruct me, but we had to follow the example of Arjuna.
Yeah.
Then only we come by to that. So this is the kind of thing, like you said, we from this first chapter, we have to question our who am I, why I'm landed on all these things. But this is always a forgotten subject that we human always walk into, you see. So I really appreciate this Gita Gyan. So if Arjuna was to live with this kind of a thing, to have the kingdom without the kind of solution that Krishna gave him, definitely it's very hard to live. That's why people always come to the source of sorrow again and again, like I encountered recently. So it bring me back that, this me. So our heart is not become soft, our heart become weak. But I hope the Gita Gyan really push me up again, because we are, as a human, careful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Say, like example, Prabhu, if you go to South India, I'm not sure about other place, but South India, if you go to the crematorium, if you take the body to crematorium, there's a big signboard that says, today is me, tomorrow is you. All right. The big signboard says, today is me, tomorrow will be you.
Yeah.
Despite that, what they call reminder, still people are not, because forgetfulness. And another thing is, Krishna simply put Arjuna into that situation, right? So that he can speak Bhagavad Gita. He created an opportunity to speak Bhagavad Gita. And all that questions that Arjuna is asking on our behalf. Okay, like for instance, when you ask a question, when someone asks a question and answer, everybody benefits. So similarly, when Krishna, all the questions that Arjuna asked, that everyone benefits. So he's asking questions on our behalf. Because when we really reflect with our own life, we know what suffering that we are going through is considered nothing compared to what Arjuna went through. He went through most terrible. But of course, we are just going maybe one or two. I mean, we are not as bad as that. So that's how we learned. Anyway, thank you so much, Chaitanya Dayadas. Cheong Prabhu.
Another thing I want to mention is that every time is when we come to this discourse, always for myself always I think what I want, you see. But actually Krishna is giving what I need, It's not that. Then finally, because I find all this quite contradictory to what I want, but actually is what we need.
He carries what you lack and he preserves what you have.
Yes, yes.
He promised that. Okay. Gopi Krishna Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, yes. I have one question, and that I wish you to clarify the term engage with the senses or engage in sensual activities. So what does it mean, engage with the senses? Because I feel every day we are using our senses to acquire knowledge or do the work. So so what engage with the senses mean? Is it equal to engage in sensual activities like sense gratification?
Yeah. Okay, Mataji, that the way that we express ourselves, the enjoyment that we have is all we are doing it through our senses. Example, I like to eat something nice. I am enjoying it through my tongue. I like to see something beautiful. I'm enjoying it through my eyes. So what it means here, when we are engaging, that means like the person, like the verse says that engaging with the senses. That means we are engaging all our senses, like our eyes, which we see, our nose we smell, tongue we taste, hear we listen, and touch, the skin touch, right? So we are engaging all our senses in the service of Krishna. So we are seeing beautiful form of Krishna, we smell the flower offered to Krishna, we hear Krishna Katha, and we taste Krishna Prasadam. So that is why it says engaging our senses for Krishna. If anything opposite to that is sense gratification. We are enjoying for our own self. You got it, Mataji?
Yes. But this is engages the senses in the proper way. So there is another expression, engage with the senses.
Engage with the senses. Okay. Engage with the senses means that means I as a soul, spirit soul, living in this body, and I'm engaging in the service. Of course, we have mind, intelligence, ego, right? You know that we have subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego.
Yes.
Yeah. So how the thing is, we are engaging with the senses. That means we are utilizing our senses to engage. Example, there's a car. My car is out there, is dead. So car is there. So I got into the car, I start the car, and I drive the car. So that means I'm engaging with that car. That means I'm driving with that car, using that car.
Yes. Okay. There's another expression that the senses are controlling the mind. I read from somewhere. It says the senses are controlling the mind.
Correct.
So I feel it's quite the opposite. Should be the mind controlling the senses. So how could the senses control the mind? Because the senses has no life. How can it can control the senses? Yes.
Okay, that we will discuss in chapter 5.
Okay. Thank you. Looking forward to your discussion.
Very nice question. That is a very nice question. And I elaborate, I give a lot of elaboration on that, how the senses engaging the mind. Just like, let's like a 5-horse with a rein, there's a rope, a horse, and the one holds it is the mind, the buddhi, the intelligent, and the rein. The rein, right? The horse that holds the rope that holds the horse. It is called the mind. The horses are the senses, and the one rein is the soul. So there's what they call. I have the what they call the photo, the portrait, and we'll discuss that.
Okay,
That's going to be
thank you so much.
Of course, this topic is we're going to discuss until the end. Controlling the mind, controlling the senses is going to be until the final of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
All right.
So anyway, thank you so much for your sharing
so much.
The wisdom.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
All right.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
just to ask you, just now, remember another Prabhuji was asking about preserving what you have, cherishing you said, right? Can you tell me in elaborate it shortly so I can remember?
Chapter 5. We will study that in chapter 5 or chapter 7. Krishna promises, when you surrender, I think, no. It's in confidential knowledge. It's chapter 9, if I'm not mistaken. He says that I preserve what you have and I carry what you lack. Krishna promises you. All right.
Okay. So you have
Krishna
faith
says,
on
I
him.
preserve what you have, and I carry what you lack. When you
All you
surrender to,
need is
huh?
all you need is to have faith and surrender to Krishna.
Definitely.
Okay.
Of course,
So
because Chong Prabhu has attended this program 2 times, so he understood what I said. But if I want to explain to you that, I have to explain it to you the entire
Yeah.
chapter.
So preserve what you have and cherish.
Carry what you lack. Krishna says, I carry what you lack and I preserve what you have.
Okay. Thank you, G. Thank you.
What you like, what you don't have, I'll give it to you. I carry it for you. I'll bring it to you. And I preserve what you have. Of course, the
Okay.
understanding is totally different. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So with that, have a nice day. We'll meet again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We meet again at the same time, 7:30, to discuss chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. And okay, so till then, have a wonderful day. And I hope that you all enjoyed the class. I hope that you all have got some ideas. And I hope that you got something that you take away, that you can reflect on. And please help me read your chapter 2, because since you have learned it, it's still hot from oven. Don't miss it. Try to study the thing. And let's meet tomorrow on chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Till then, have a beautiful day. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva Paditanam pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Good night.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Gauranga.
Go
Hare Bo.